solution.
Good evening, students. So today I'll be starting with a new chapter, that is Great Expectations. Chapter 5, page 42. So Great Expectations is written by a very famous writer, that is Charles Dickens. We have already came across this writer's name as we are doing Oliver Twist. So this is another great writings, a great novel written by the same writer, that is Charles Dickens. So Great Expectations, it is one of the world-renowned novel, and this is a small part. This chapter is just a small part of that big novel. So here again, just like Oliver Twist, we have seen that the author wrote about an orphan in Oliver Twist also, and in this Great Expectation, the main hero, that is Pip, even he is an orphan. So as we start, please follow the lines and try to understand the explanations. My father's family name being Pirip and my Christian name Philip, my infant tongue could make of both name nothing longer or more explicit than Pip. So I called myself Pip and came to be called Pip. So in the very first paragraph, we get to know that the narrator here, that is who is narrating the story to us, his father's family name, means his surname, is Pirip. Okay, his surname is Pirip. And my Christian name Philip, means his actual name is Philip. So the narrator's name in full is actually Philip Pirip. Here the narrator, he is saying that since he was a very young child and pronouncing Philip Pirip together, it is a very tough job for an infant tongue. So he called himself as Pip. In short, he used to call himself as Pip. So in the whole novel, we'll see that the Pip plays a very important role. And in fact, he is the main hero here. So from here, he gets the name Pip. I give Pirip as my father's name, family name, on authority of his tombstone, and my sister, Mrs. Joe Gargery, who married the blacksmith, as I never saw my father or my mother, and never saw any likeness of either of them, for their days were long before the days of photographs. My first fancy regarding what they were like were unreasonably derived from their tombstone. So here the narrator is telling us that the surname which he got is Pirip. He came to know about it from the tombstone of his father. Means his whole family, like he was an orphan. He didn't have his father or his mother. He doesn't remember them because he was very young when both of them they had expired. So he was taken care by his sister, whose name was Mrs. Joe Gargery, and his sister got married to a blacksmith. So he is to stay with his sister and his brother-in-law. So he here the narrator is saying that he doesn't remember any picture of his father or his mother at all, because at those days the photographs were not there, and his first fancy regarding what they are like means, what if they think about his father or his mother, whatever rough picture he derived is from the tombstone. Tombstone means the place where his father and mother was laid down in the graveyard. So in Christian belief, what they do with the dead bodies, when they put them in the graveyard, on top of the dead body they write down the name on a stone, and they just mark it that whose body was there. So those are called tombstones. So the little boy, because he was very young, so he never saw his parents ever, so he drew a very rough picture of his parents. And how did he do it? He got an idea from the tombstone. The shape of the letters on my father's grave, fathers gave me an odd idea that he was square, stout, dark man with curly black hair. So he drew a picture of his father from the tombstone. The tombstone of his father, it was a square, and it was quite strong, and it was dark in color. And so the little boy Pip, he gave an idea that his father looked like that tombstone, like he was a square face, he was strong, stout means strong, and he was a dark man with curly black hair. Okay. From the character and the turn of the inscription, also Georgia, wife of the above. So just near his father's tombstone, it was his mother's tombstone. And out there it was written also Georgia. Also Georgia means Georgia was the name of his mother, but since it was written also Georgia, the little Pip, he thought that his mother's name is also Georgia. So I drew a childish conclusion that my mother was freckled and sickly. Okay, so the tombstone of his mother was very, very thin, and freckled means very crushed and very feeble, very weak. So he thought that his mother was very weak and very pale. To 5 little stone lodgences, each about a foot and half long, which were arranged in neat row beside their grave. And just near his father and mother's grave, there were 5 little other tombstones. It was arranged in small stones, were arranged in a row just near the tombstone of his mother and father. And who were they? They were the Pip's other little brothers, who also was expired with his parents. Even they were not living anymore. They were all dead. Scared to the memory of 5 little brothers of mine who gave up trying to get a living exceedingly early, I am indebted for a belief I religiously entertained that they had all been born on their backs with their hands in their trousers pockets and had never taken them out in the state of existence. So since the stones of his brothers were all neatly arranged in a row, and it seemed to little Pip that they were born like that and they could not live, and they were all putting their hands in their trousers and they were all standing out there. So this is the picture how he drew of his parents and his other brothers. Got it? So I'll just try to follow this much. Whether you understand or not, please send me your responses.